Am I the butthole for making my sister leave my wedding reception after her son acted up during my ceremony? I got married this past Saturday. It was a very small affair with less than 70 people in attendance. I opted for a child-free wedding due to both costs and convenience. I like kids, just not at my wedding. Most people were fine with the child-free aspect. The wedding was announced a year in advance so most people could find accommodations. The problem is my sister, who is one of 4 bridesmaids. She has 2 boys, one is 2 and other is 5. Thursday she drops that her sitter fell through, and she asked for them to be allowed at the wedding. I felt pressured, but she begged for them to come. I told her as long as they behaved and her husband kept an eye on them. She was late getting to the venue cause the boys were fussy getting ready, so she's only in a handful of the getting ready pics. Fine, okay. Then the ceremony itself happened, and my nephew, younger one, began to act up during the vows. My husband and I wrote our own, and about halfway through mine he begins to cry and fuss. My brother-in-law grabbed him and very awkwardly made his way out, with my older nephew behind telling his brother to shush. I had to restart my vows twice due to the disruption, and I was already so nervous. The venue was outdoor as well, so we could hear my nephew fussing for a while until my brother-in-law got them a good distance away. I didn't see this at the time, but according to the best man, my sister was dramatically shooing her husband out. After the ceremony itself, my sister vanished for a while, so we were held up with wedding party photos again. After the pictures, my sister didn't even say anything, no apology, nada. After the first dances she finally came up and was like, haha, sorry about, nephew, it was nap time. He's settled now. It was such a non-apology, and I was so upset. I told her I didn't like how dismissive she was of my wedding and how I broke my own rule to accommodate her family, and she didn't seem to care. She said she was sorry again, but I was blowing things out of proportion, and how it wasn't as big of a disruption as I was making it out to be. I was just boiling at this point and asked her to please go. I didn't want her there anymore. She and our mom was upset, and she was acting like a victim. She and I still haven't talked. I've had a lot of people, mostly friends, say I was in the right, but my family seems to think I'm a bridezilla cause the disruption had already happened, and I was just punishing them. I'm not angry at my nephew. I'm angry at myself for bending on my child-free rules and my sister for everything, ESP her half-assed apology. I had to edit a lot of stuff to fit in the word limit. Let me know if I need to clarify anything. She isn't butthole for bringing them and making you feel pressured when you already set up boundaries and preferences for this situation. Exactly. Not the butthole. Maybe it's me, but I would have told her, sorry, if you can't find a sitter then you or brother-in-law have to miss out. I already am anxious enough, I don't need to risk a speech disruption. Maybe then you'd have been made out to be a bridezilla too, though. It is a big deal, a deal that only happened because she made you, which, she basically did. Original poster could have said no, but then sister/family would have probably went off about that, and she'd have more drama right before the wedding, make an exception on your day, and it ended up interrupting your vows. She proceeds to give a pathetic attempt at an apology to save face that seems to be vaguely gaslighting you in the process, which is why I guess you ended up asking her to leave, because who does that on a day like that? At least fake through an apology and accept responsibility. This is why I opt for eloping, haha. Can't win for losing. Original poster replies. I originally wanted to elope, but it just never seems to happen that way. Part of the post I had to remove was that I originally told her she could bring them to the reception only but not the ceremony. She really pleaded for them to come to both and like an idiot I agreed. Original poster replies. 2 infants were also in attendance, a 10-month-old and 4-month-old, my husband's cousin's kid and a friend's child respectively, but during the ceremony cousin's wife watched the babies in the bridal suite. I was going to let my brother-in-law do the same, but my sister didn't want him to miss the ceremony. Sounds like it was more about her preferences on your day than yours. Which is too bad cause a lot of people seem to be calling you the AH, so maybe I am too, but I don't know. Seems to me like you tried to deal with it the best you could, and she didn't want to budge, which is too bad. You can always do another low-key wedding just you two if the time ever feels right, where you don't have to worry about appeasing others or spending much money, but either way, I feel you. Her comment would have been enough for me to ask her to leave as well. I hate the idea of having a wedding and someone so close like a sibling and parent pushing boundaries. It also looks a bit preferential if no other kids came and suddenly people show up and your sister's kids are there. Sure, things happen, but like I said, lose, 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 and no matter what with your situation you'd have been made out to be the bad guy for one decision or another. I was going to let my brother-in-law do the same, but my sister didn't want him to miss the ceremony. This right here makes me think there never was a sitter, and she is / was the butthole situation and you are firmly not the butthole. Original poster replies. I do think there was a sitter. She told me there has been some sort of date/time mix-up about a graduation the babysitter was supposed to attend it, I think her son or son-in-law or something. I've never even considered that she lied, I don't see why she would. Not the butthole. Shocked at the number of AITA reply here. I don't love traditional weddings, I don't understand not inviting kids, but it's your day. You gave people a year of advance notice and you actively tried not to be a bridezilla by accommodating your sister's kids. She should never have put you in that position. What's not to get? Weddings are way more fun when there aren't kids there. My biggest problem with no kids is you have to be consistent. My cousin got married when I was in high school, and they were extremely strict on the no one under 18 at the reception rule. Except for his wife's side of the family. All of her little cousins and stuff were allowed and welcomed, my sister, cousin, and I were forbidden from attending the reception. We ordered pizza and played video games, so we honestly probably had a way better time at home anyway, but it still felt pretty crappy to be told that we couldn't attend because of a rule that wasn't even followed by the other side of the family. Original poster might have encountered something similar if she was clear about no kids but then bent the rule for her nephews. Definitely not the butthole. Everyone sucks here. You knew that by agreeing there was a possibility of the kids getting fussy at some point. Your sister shouldn't have been so dismissive because you wanted things to go well, and that is understandable. However, kicking her out of the reception after it already happened is a pretty crappy thing to do, and I'm sure other people noticed. There was no point in adding more drama. This is a great example of a situation where Reddit will tell you that you aren't in butthole because there is a justification for your behavior, but that doesn't translate to real life. I just can't imagine it being worth it blowing up your family and causing drama at your own wedding because you had to restart your vows, which, with an outdoor wedding, was likely anyway. It's her own fault for taking everything so seriously. If you don't want to deal with family crap like a sister who bugs you or a kid getting upset, then go elope, say your vows in a quiet room and have some ceremony with your family whenever. People act like their wedding is the event of the century and anything less than perfection is unacceptable. I never really understood it. Just have a nice day with your spouse and the people you love and move on. I do understand the annoyance but not the outrage. Classic you're not wrong, you're just in butthole situation. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised at the people jumping to defend original poster asking her sister to leave later in the wedding, after the incident, after sister did apologize. It was just mean and dramatic at that point. That's the kind of thing you do when you don't care about your relationship with that person, and that's the vibe I get from original poster. Everyone sucks here. Yep. The sitter cancelled. It's unfortunate. Op's husband got up quick and moved the kid. He could still be heard, and that's unfortunate. It's not like they just didn't try to purposely ruin the wedding. End of the day, original poster made an exception and should take some responsibility for that. Info. Is 70 people a very small wedding? Especially during a pandemic? Nope, not a chance. 7 people is small, 70 is still irresponsible. This is literally the exact opposite of what the CDC says. The gathering was outside. We have no reason to think that anyone was unvaccinated. There is no science that supports the idea that vaccinated people need to avoid even being in the same area when they are outdoors. If someone wants to lock themselves in their basement for the rest of time, that is their prerogative, but the science does not state that a few dozen people can't safely gather outside once vaccinated. Okay, but most people don't consider a group of 70 as small. Not a small gathering? Sure, I agree entirely. But a small wedding? I would say so. The average wedding size is just over 130, if you believe the knot, which maybe I do. This is around half of that. This easily qualifies as a small wedding. It is only COVID that is causing us to view it as generally a big gathering, myself included. It's going to take a while to recalibrate. Yeah, I've worked weddings for years. I definitely consider 70 on the smaller side. Wait, you're right. She probably knew the baby would get fussy at the time of the ceremony. Sister is either lazy, selfish, or plotting. While I understand parenting is hard, I feel like she could have managed to figure this crap out. Original poster replies: I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I don't think this was some nefarious or ill-intentioned thing. We don't have a bad or strained relationship. She has no reason to purposely sabotage me. It's absolutely possible to do something on accident and still be a jerk. Well, you will have a strained relationship now. You're the butthole. I'm surprised so many people say otherwise. I don't think you're the butthole for wanting a child-free wedding. You should have told her she couldn't come. That was a mistake in hindsight. Making a big deal of it after the fact is being a butthole. What is it with people putting this much importance on one event? There's always something that doesn't go as planned. Your marriage isn't going to succeed or fail based on waiting a minute before saying your vows. When I married my husband, I was so happy. I don't think anything could have ruined it. I only have one sister, and if she had disappeared to attend to her kids, I would have playfully sought her out later and nabbed her for some pics, even informal, to make sure she was in some of them with me. I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been like, oh no, sis is missing out, better grab her later for a quick pic later at least. I was sunburnt on my wedding day. Whoops, one of my sandals broke on the way down. I took them off and went barefoot. It was on a beach though, laughing out loud. I genuinely hated the way my hair was done, and took some less fancy pics after taking out the pins. I remember laughing about it with my husband. I was so giddy and happy the entire time. None of it mattered. And it still doesn't. I've been at plenty of events where kids have started crying and parents had to take them out of the room. I've never felt mad at the parents or kids. It honestly didn't even register. Again, not faulting you for wanting a child-free wedding. You had the option of saying no to her, or letting her bring the kids. Neither options probably felt great. But that's also not her fault. Childcare arrangements falling through sucks. Life with kids can be stressful. She probably just didn't want to miss your big day. Unfortunately, life and kids don't always care about your schedule. You're the butthole for handling it badly and not just moving on. She couldn't change what happened, and I'm not sure what kind of grandiose apology you were expecting for something happening that was out of her control. Her not crying while saying sorry and instead saying sorry with a quick explanation and light demeanor doesn't make her apology insincere. People and their weddings these days. It's about celebrating your commitment to your partner with friends and family. It's not about having a perfect day when everything is about you. I hate to be that guy, but the wedding industry and Hollywood perpetuate this incredibly narcissistic view of weddings, and it makes me sick. You're the butthole. They babysitter fell through, which wasn't their fault. If you were adamant on child-free, you should have said it then, not agreed they could come. When the kids started crying, also not the parents' fault, the dad handled it as quickly as possible. What did you expect them to do that they did not? You're the butthole. What more did you expect them to do? The standard practice if a child becomes fussy is to remove them. He couldn't control the fact that your venue was outside. That's your fault. Kids cry and fuss. Did you want her to beg at your feet for forgiveness? If you really didn't want them there, you should have told her no. This is all on you. Everyone sucks here. Your sister for obvious reasons. You for two different reasons. One, you said a too-old could attend. What did you expect? Two, you allowed kids for one person when nobody else could bring their kids. Stick by the rules you made or make that accommodation for everyone. Not the butthole you asked that she keep the children quiet, and yet they interrupted your vows at least 2 times. She was then late for getting pictures of the wedding party because, instead of her hubby taking care of the kids, she had to go make sure they were settled in. So she made you wait to enjoy your wedding until she was ready to have the wedding party pictures taken, holding up everything because of her needs. Sounds like a stellar wedding. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.